All right, it's great to be here today. Thank God it's Friday and so much. We're going down as far as our football is concerned on this platform. It's all about Locker Room on Voice of the People TV. And I'm your host, Jerry Al-Hilal. We've got a thrilling show for you today. It's a full house. It's going to be explosive. And of course, the show is conversational. You can also be a part of the program. Via the YouTube platform, you can drop your comments, and you can also do that as well by calling out via the WhatsApp number. If you can't call, you can drop your WhatsApp message. And of course, the usual suspect is here with me, talking about Iheanacho makes a return, though it's been a topsy-turvy time for all my United fans all over the world. But at least we'll still show mercy now. But at least we'll get to that part. We are going to do part 2 today. Iheanacho, it's great to have you on Locker Room.
Good evening, Jerry, and good evening to our viewers. It's been a very long week, I must say, and thank God it's Friday. I hope we can just get past this whole drama. And yes,
it's going to be on to August.
I'm still very pained, because my favorite team didn't win the league, Enyimba. It's sad. I just hope to see them again next season.
You can feel for Kanu Nwankwo and Enyimba, but that's not your business. The thing is that your misery is going to continue till August, when the league season will start. And even when the league season starts, I've told you, even though they give you guys 15 points.
No, there's no way.
They give Manchester United, even though they give you guys 15 points.
You have to.
You told the league season, you will still not make top 4. Not to talk about winning league. So, okay, anyway, and of course, a man makes his debut today. He is a friend, and it's great to have you, your man, with us, and on this auspicious day. It's great to have you. How has it been?
Fantastic. It's been a wonderful season. I enjoyed the fact that the underdogs have been getting their well-deserved,
Yeah, all the clubs are with the best
celebration, and jubilation. Yes. Yeah. Man United has been in a delusional cloud for now. We can all see clearly. Even they themselves, they can see it all clearly. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I think I stumbled upon one video that was trending one time when a man was making reference to Manchester United's situation. He said that the thing is that Man United is the hope that kills you. And Man United is 24 hours later, the man is still telling you, if you want to sack me,
you can sack me,
but don't pay me. And Man United fans are still saying, stay, let's give you one more chance, because failure has now become the standard. So anything apart from that, it's just.
I wouldn't totally agree that failure has become the standard. I think they are also.
What is not the standard now? Wait, you finish. Wait, let me laugh first. A Man United coach finished 16th, and it's not the standard.
I think it's just the fact that they are seeing he didn't start the season, so they want to give him a clean slate. Like you said, they have tried things and it hasn't worked. Let's see what the transfer window does for them, and then we can reassess by January. I think that's a fair assessment. By January,
why is he lost?
I don't know what to say.
The thing is that you say he didn't start the season.
Yes.
Let me now tell you. The reason why they are still even talking about he didn't start the season is because they are not relegated though. Maybe if he has started the season,
they'll be relegated.
The relegation
I don't think it will be that.
No,
I don't think it will be that.
It will be that worse.
I don't think it will be that. I don't think so.
The reason why they are not relegated is because Amori did not start the season with them.
I don't think it will be that.
Anyway, let's start from the home front where I know. You just calm down. Calm down. It's your time to shine.
I'm trying to understand what's going on here. if this is still Locker Room. Because
these are the conversations we have in the Locker Room.
These are the conversations we have in August.
We cannot be having this sort of conversation. No. I want to believe Locker Room is where we discuss football events.
Yes, football events.
This is
it's still relevant.
No,
very, very relevant.
This is becoming a personal attack on a certain club because they didn't actually win a trophy.
No, it's about events that your coach is saying
Is there a reason why I'm in the middle of you two?
Yes. Anyway, let's start off with the South African Football Association has accepted a 3-point deduction for fielding an ineligible player in their 2-0 win over Lesotho. And Teboho Mokoena was suspended due to accumulated yellow cards but played over 80 minutes in the match. Nigeria did not even complain. Super Eagles was deducted 3 points. It is official. It's a written rule. You don't need to wait for the complainant. The law will surely come back on you. And of course, FIFA has met South Africa and said, oh boy, I have surrendered the 3 points. Let's now know who is who as far as the table is concerned.
I mean, it's a good one. This is what we'll be hoping for. At least it gives us that opportunity to actually just win all our games, including South Africa, and then we are through, right? But then the problem I have with this particular rule, you know, that conversation we were having the other day. I mean, the rule states that, you know, you're given 48 hours to actually file a complaint, right? Now, if that clause is actually not active, it should be expunged. But why have, you know, that 48 hours demand or ultimatum to actually do something, and then even if you fail to do it, it's still cashable, you know? I think this is where they actually need to really look at their law, because for me, right, every other country have been points have been deducted, but any country who decides to take it up to FIFA has a point. There's a merit in whatever claim you're going. This person didn't file after 48 hours. This is what your rule says, and I think I have a claim here. And who knows? At the end of the day, the person might, you know, take it up as far as court of arbitration and still wins. You know, so I really think if this is not actually going to be a thing, or if this clause is actually very useless to the rule, I think it should be expunged, so that, you know, we know that once you err, there's definitely going to be a repercussion.
Even if there's a rule like that, I think FIFA will not have veto power to overrule any rule they've made based on the moral sense of it, and of course even the constitution. We see situation where somebody will be convicted for murder according to the constitution and be sentenced to death or hanging, and the president will grant you
clemency,
presidential pardon, and say go and see no more. So that is how this rule will always look like.
Jerry, see, it's a law that, I mean, this is not even just about football though. If you know, cases like this where they say you have to do this to activate this, because that's what it means. If you don't do this, that means this particular thing you're actually filing for is actually not going to be active in court, right? It is what you actually pray for. It's your prayer that the judge will actually, this body has the ability to actually overrule or whatever it is.
Unfortunately, I don't have the FIFA law book. I think I will try and do my research to find out what that rule really states and the clauses. Then before we can conclude and say, this is what it is. Of course, we just know the aspect that there's a 48-hour rule, that the team involved will need to make a complaint. And of course, Ironman, does this mean that Nigeria now has a big chance of qualifying for the World Cup?
In the current form that we're in, I'm not sure. I think we do have a chance, but we have to get our acts together. We have not become a synchronized team completely. Goal scoring, yes. But defending-wise, we're not doing a very fantastic job. But it's a game of football. Anything can change. This has given us an opportunity. I think we do have a chance, but we just have to wait and see. Do I believe Nigeria can do it? Yes. On paper, not so well.
Wow. Definitely, it's just like sitting on the fence. But let's just vibes on vibes. I hope it will not be the Finidi style. Let's just go and play. You don't need tactics to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go there and try your luck. Anyway, the way it is right now, it means that South Africa will now double their hustle.
Absolutely.
It means they are going to even put in more tempo and become intentional about the game against the Super Eagles. So where does that leave the Super Eagles going into that game, which is an away game?
It's very dicey, and this is why I've been complaining about, you know, Eric's idea of, you know, going with two separate lists for this particular friendly match. And this, at this point, you don't really know your team at this point, and experimenting with that number of players, bringing the likes of Iheanacho, who, you know, for God knows how long, you know, he's played at least 10 game stretch, right? the likes of Ahmed Musa, who doesn't play top flight football again. Wilfred Ndidi, who
Nigerian football is not top flight football?
When I mean top flight, I mean top. When you talk about top flight football, I mean Nigerian league is not all that, right? We all know this is what it is. We know the truth. I mean leagues in Africa at this point are not even all that, right? I mean, you even rate South American leagues above Nigerian league. Yet the Brazilians of this world will not even go into their league to actually pick the first 11. So it tells you how underrated our league is at this point. We have to call a spade, right? So, but going in this particular game, the likes of Ahmed Musa, Wilfred Ndidi, who is obviously very rusty, is going on relegation with Leicester City. I mean, you bring in all of these players, and then we start asking people to know the color of the team, how the team is going to play. We saw how bad the team is in terms of game management against Zimbabwe in our last game, and then we are still complaining about what exactly is the face. We don't even have a proper creative midfielder. Yes, of course, say for Uche Crisantos that we are looking at, perhaps the coach is going to actually make a good use of him. A lot of players who we even expect, like Dele Bashiru, to be part of the team, we didn't even get to see them. And then you are bringing these guys. How long is it going to take him to actually get a proper team for this doubleheader against Rwanda and South Africa? Which, in my opinion, of course, even the group is saying so, that they are the two best teams outside Nigeria in that group in terms of how they've been able to put themselves right. And in terms of team structure, South Africa is by far the best. Now you are going away from home. You didn't even do the justice here at home. Now you are going away from home. So it leaves us in a very difficult position. But the advantage here, because of this point deduction, South Africa will be G3. They will not come into that game so comfortable, right? So they will want to come seek for early goal, and that's where Nigeria can actually get a good one. Because if South Africa come all out, I mean, imagine this game, we are going into this game with 6 points behind. South Africa can decide to just sit back and hit us on the fast break. They have quick players. Their league is the way they actually like to play is sit back and hit, or sometimes they like to play high pressing. Depends on the opponent. Now, playing against into that particular game, hopefully, then we are going to be facing South Africa, and then South Africa decide to come out because they need early goal to even get it started. They want to actually seal the qualifying round against Nigeria, knowing that they've given us a huge gap. So whatever it is that happen, even if they get to lose another game, it's going to still be three points, and of course at the end of the day. So that's what they want to come to. So it's going to be a game of we don't want to make mistake, and when you are too careful, you most likely make mistake. That's exactly what happens in game of football. So that's the only advantage we'll be having because the point gap now is closed. But going into this particular game, I don't know how the Super Eagles is going to do it because we do not even have what looks like a team at this point. And trust me, yes, we can be banking on individual quality. We've got it. I mean, more than any African team at this point in terms of how the high our player plays in Europe. But in terms of what a team looks like, I think Nigeria is by far. Maybe 10th best teams in terms of team structure in Africa. So it's going to be a very difficult one for Super Eagles. But the only lock, if we can actually place to South Africa's weakness, which is the fact that they do not want to make a mistake in that particular game, is going to be the only way we can actually come out with the 3 points in that particular one.
All right, and of course, for the South Africans, what we'll be riding on for them is the fact that they have continuity in the technical aspect of the team. This is the same team that went as far as the semi-final of the African Cup of Nations. And of course, since then, they've been doing well as far as the qualifiers for the Nations Cup and the World Cup is concerned. So there's consistency in the team is united, and there's confidence in that side. And they're going to be at home. A lot of advantages riding on the South Africans. We'll now wait to see what will happen. All right, let's talk about the Golden Eaglets, where they'll seal their place in the semi-final of the 2024 National Sports Festival men's football event. They trashed a boy 5-0. With Abdulniz Adeleke scoring a brace and Mohamed Imrana and Destiny Samuel and Emmanuel Ochigbo adding to the scoreline. I don't know the reason why the Golden Eaglets is at the National Sports Festival. Meanwhile, the Flamingos are targeting a knockout round spot, leading Group B with 5 points after a goalless draw with Lagos State. I know maybe it's just to prep the guys on. But I think it's a cheat. It's a cheat team. Having a national team, for instance, no matter the level, playing in the National Sport Festival. Ayo.
Well, I wish them well. If they are able to Nigerian football, sometimes I don't want to comment so much because I don't think I have so much positive things to say. So I would just leave. I would just leave it because I don't think I'm going to be as positive. So Iheanacho has buttressed everything from the the Super Eagles side, and I think it also trickles down to every aspect of our footballing side. So I would just leave it. At this point, I don't want to add.
You need to be patriotic. You need to love the brand. Yeah,
I was willing to wear the Nigerian jersey. I thought about it today. I said no. This is not the episode to do that today.
All right, maybe another episode. You wear Manchester United episode.
I'm putting on blue. It reflects Imba. What's that? Why are you trying to touch me? If you want to come Manchester United,
I love how he's trying to
why are you
come
touching
back.
me? Why are you trying to touch me?
Yeah,
He's coming back to Enyimba, but yet he keeps saying bad things about the Nigerian.
No, I'm not saying.
What's the rationale playing the Flamingos and the Golden Eaglets at the National Sport Festival?
Okay, so two things first. At the under-17 level, these are more like the very first stage of getting into the national team proper. Yes, we know there's an under-15 before then, and even perhaps lower grade. But at under-17, it's that stage where you are ready to actually hit your professional football career. Now at under-17, if you are so good, then you'll be most likely eyeing even the Super Eagles. We saw that with Japan and 3-1 Kokano side, right? A couple of these guys were more like what do you call the supplementary list? Yeah, they were more like the backup plan of the Super Eagles going to nation and four nations score. So it tells you that these guys really have quality. Yes, the rationale behind playing them here, I think it's a new one, right? Because over the years we've not seen anything like this. Maybe they're trying to actually really test the guys, to see that, okay, even though the competition you guys will be going for is not very, very well near, let's put you in a proper mood to be in a mood for competition. Because trust me, I mean, it's better for them to just go back home. See that many of these guys that don't even have professional club side.
Did you see the performances of the under-20 in the last competition that they went for?
No, I'm talking about the under-17.
I know, but I'm saying, look at if this is the progression that from the under-17, they are going to move to the under-20, and the current under-20 is not performing at this rate, then it means that there's something not correctly right. That if we can't correct that, are we sure that we're going to be progressively getting good output of players?
Well, this is not. How will I put it? It's not
the competition.
Yes, it's not even certain that you're going to get the right output of players. Now, even if they go to under-17 World Cup from here, right, yes, they eventually get to win it or finish in a very good position. It's not a guarantee that a good number of these players will even get into the Super Eagles. We saw the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, right? How many of them made it to the Super Eagles? It's not at this level. You don't even expect to see all of them. The side that won under 17 2003 in 2003, the Fabregas and the receiver in Finland. How many of them actually made it to the national team in Spain? I mean, Fabregas became a regular mainstay. The receiver was more like an off and on player. I really didn't get his foot because of lack of Xavi and Iniesta at the point. So it's not that the fact that because there's an A-grade structure, you expect all of them to actually move from this pool to the next pool. Yes, it is not. It is not certain. It is
I know that.
Nowhere in the world. So the rationale here is the fact that they're actually trying to put these boys in good mood, in good use and in good mood, so that they actually be competition ready. Because we don't really have that under-17 league across the country like their counterparts abroad who would have been playing at this point. Under-17 league, under-19 league. Yes. That would have really helped them to stay in shape. But how else would they stay in shape? This is a national sports festival. So the best thing to do is to create a space for them so that they'll be active. And I think that's what it's all about. I hope to see them win it because it's going to really encourage them and push them further, see themselves like champion, and then they can actually take up challenge. And plus, the fact that the players they will be playing against, most of them are above their age grade because National Sports Festival is an open category competition. So obviously, many of the players they will be up against are players above their age range. So it says a lot about their quality if they end up winning the championship.
As is if they are truly above their age.
Jerry, I don't know.
But that's a story for you. Nigerian international striker talking about Victor Osimhen is in talks. We're here with Saudi Arabian side Al-Hilal over a possible transfer when his loan deal with Galatasaray expires on June 1. Why does it look like most of the club sides are afraid to price Osimhen. Now, it looks like the man is going to be frustrated to go to the Saudi League. What do you think about Osimhen's situation?
I think a lot of the clubs are just not sure of how they can pay this guy. I think that was the first issue he had initially with Napoli when they were trying to let him go.
Yeah.
And the only club who was able to say, just bring him on was Galatasaray. Now, for a club that wants to, he's a proven striker. He has shown it over and over again.
Yeah.
In French league, in the Italian league, now in the Turkish league, he has shown it over that he can deliver the goals. In my opinion, I don't think there's any price that is too high for you to pay for that striker now. But it seems like everybody is trying to play that same game that they played that made him choose to come to Turkey all over again. And the only leagues who are ready to, because they've seen his output, who are ready to say, no problem, we'll dole out the cash. He's worth every single penny that we're going to dole out, is the
Saudi League.
The Saudi League.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like a team, like there are many teams. I don't want to even begin to list teams. I'm happy that Manchester United has pulled out of the race because initially they were saying they wanted to bring him on, but I'm very glad for his future.
I think
which
he
is
was
very
hinged
important.
on winning the Europa League.
Yes.
Going to the Champions League.
No, but for his future, even to me, even if they had won the Europa League, even if Manchester United had won the Europa League, I don't think that's the best fit for him as a striker currently.
Yes.
He needs a team that will be competing at a very high,
focus.
that will be competing at a very high level. And one of those teams would have been either an Arsenal or something else in the Premier League, right? Or even a Newcastle would have been a good option for him. Yeah. But at this current moment, the only teams or the only league that is willing to accept his both the pay and give him the value for his money is the Saudi League. And I don't think it's a bad option for him to go there, make some money, cool off, and then decide to come back to Europe in the next 2-3 years.
Right.
He's a 26-year-old guy. He has time.
All right. Do you think he has time? If he goes to the Saudi League, is it goodbye to an opportunity to play in the traditional big sides? Because if you go to England, you have traditional big sides who always play Champions League. Same with Spain, same with Italy. Even in Italy, Napoli is not even a traditional Champions League side. When you talk about Inter, AC Milan, Juventus, then the others.
Roma.
If you come to England, there is Arsenal, there is Man City, there is Chelsea now, and of course there's Liverpool, and I will add Manchester United to that until recently. So if you are not playing for those top club sides, that means you have not played in a traditional big side. Yes. And it will not be good. Now Osimhen will look back at his career and did not see him play in this traditional big side with the quality he has.
So the thing is, Osimhen going to Saudi Arabia at this point means game over. I don't see him going there and coming back to Europe. Nobody's going to be able to afford the service, except maybe he's coming
to take a pay cut to return back to
serious
Europe.
pay cut, and it's not even going to come back at the top. Because if you're going to Saudi, there's no way Osimhen is not going to stay there for at least 3 seasons, at most. Because
he can do the Neymar now.
I think he can come back.
It's not Neymar.
I think he can come back on a loan move
to the Brazilian league.
I think he can come back on a loan move.
Neymar is already.
There are so many options for him.
See, for Osimhen, if Osimhen move to Saudi today, how many years do you think he's going to sign? These are the questions. It's not
5-year deal.
So add 4 years.
No, I think that would not even be advisable. I think even if he's going to sign to the Saudi League, maybe 1 year would have been.
It's not
possible.
He can't sign a year deal.
Minimum is a 2-year deal.
He can't. So now, if he signs a 2-year deal, which means he's going to be
a 2-year deal with a clause to leave at any time he wants.
It's not possible.
It's very possible. Osimhen is on the table where he has the bargaining power because he's going to Saudi League.
Jerry.
But be honest, this is just. I want to jump into the conclusion that he's going to complete this time for them. Those things can change in 24 hours.
Yeah,
we've seen that happen in transfer markets. But I'll let you get you go.
Wait, Jerry. See, the thing is this, right? Going to Saudi Arabia at this point, these guys have the money that you want, right? And then if Osimhen agrees to whatever it is they are bringing on table, which means these guys will want to keep him for at least 2 years, which means he's going to be signing at least maybe 3 years deal. These are because they will not want to allow Osimhen leave on a free.
I think Saudi League wouldn't even mind. Because if they have the quality of player like Victor Osimhen on their side,
no.
Of course we've seen that happen.
We've seen the
case of Jordan Henderson, for instance.
Yes.
No, Jordan Henderson already is in his twilight. These are players who are already in their twilight. Osimhen is still very much at his prime.
Yeah.
So when a player is moving at this point, the people who are actually acquiring him will also want to keep him, and if someone wants to get him, they will also want to get something off him.
Now, let me now tell you what entices a lot of players going to the Saudi League, mostly when they are still good. You know, someone like John Duran, the agents are always smart enough. Yes, you are getting a premium player. Of course, normally the only thing that is making him join your league is because of the money. And if I'm the agent of Victor Osimhen, if I'm going to be discussing with the Saudi League, there must always be a clause that he can leave at any time he wants. Yeah, that's be the smartest move. Because no matter what the Saudi League is going to bring, yeah, the money is great, it's good. But you know, Osimhen is in his prime. Just recent African Footballer of the Year. He won the Turkish Cup. He's not going to the Saudi League because he wants to play football. It's not because he's not. It's just that the club side cannot meet the money. Exactly. So when the club sides are not ready, you know,
no, see,
when the club sides are not ready, I should be able to move my
player because strikers are not a very surplus in the market.
If you're not going to agree to that terms, let him renew one more loan deal at Galatasaray. And let Napoli split the money continuously the way they've been splitting.
It's better that way for me. See, for Osimhen to remain in Europe is way better than going to Saudi Arabia. But if he's going to,
there are other options for him. A lot of other clubs as well.
Osimhen wants to play in a top club at this point.
Yes.
Now, and top clubs actually want Osimhen, but the condition is the money. Why? They don't want to take, the risk of, having a player that they may not be able to manage. We're having a conversation about Osimhen's attitude and what happened with Stephen Keshi. People see, I said Stephen Keshi, finish John. Coaches see these things. Managers see these things.
Are you saying that one incident changed?
You call it one incident.
So you're saying that one incident changed the trajectory?
Even apart from that, he also had issues at Napoli.
Yes. So, okay, can I ask you, strikers like Luis Suarez, who have continuously had issues in almost every club that they've gone to, what will you now say about
With who?
Him? With everybody. With who? You want to say Luis Suarez didn't have issues in Atletico Madrid when he got there?
With who?
When he got to Barcelona, he didn't have issues?
With who? These are the questions. With who?
With the opponents.
With the opponents, but not with the people managing the team. Yes. Not with the people managing the club. Not with the management. These are the issues. If you can have issues with in fact, let me tell you, one of the reasons why they brought in Luis Suarez to Barcelona, even Zlatan Ibrahimovic, was the fact that at the time when they look at the Barcelona dressing room, these guys were quiet. They look like normal schoolboys. Sometimes managers bring in a different blood to actually change the dynamics of the dressing room. Not because of anything. So that when you go into the pitch, when opponents look at your team, they know that there's someone who can actually bite back. Right? But not when that person becomes a problem to the manager or the management. It becomes a problem. Nobody wants to deal with that such a market.
But I think that would be unfair to judge Victor Osimhen because
that's why I don't agree.
Victor Osimhen has also proven that in spite of all the antics and all what happens outside the pitch, he still brings his A game on the pitch. He's never controversial on the pitch for 90 minutes. He always brings his A game. He scores the goals that are important to the team. It doesn't matter whether the game is a small game or in spite of the way he was treated at Napoli.
Jerry,
he still came back on the official social media of the club side. Made funny comments against him. He still went on the pitch and he was treated
Jerry, nobody's even debating Osimhen's quality.
You cannot do that to Mario Balotelli.
Exactly, Jerry.
I expect you to remain professional.
That's the privilege now. See, Jerry, there are certain rights that the father or the child of a rich man or the child of a particular family has over a child who is a stranger in the family. Mario Balotelli, that's his homeland. He can afford to misbehave. Let me use that word.
When he came to England.
He can see. By right.
Misbehave in England.
See, Jerry, by right. The fact that the passport is holding is not the same as an African passport. He's got every leverage above any guy that shares the same skin color as he is. And N'Golo Kante, for example, can stand, first be the lens which, a foreigner will view N'Golo Kante is not the same lens they will view a certain Wilfred Ndidi. These are just what it is, But for Osimhen, I'm not talking, nobody is going to question his quality. Osimhen's quality is right up there for grab. What I'm saying is, outside that, what does clubs gain from you as a person? These are what we're discussing. Image right. Is your image sellable?
But the thing is that Osimhen's image is sellable.
Yeah.
Why I want to say that? Take a look at the Unity Cup. we just recently had a conversation where
True.
the organizers of the Unity Cup were begging the NFF to talk to Victor Osimhen to be a part of the Unity Cup because they believe that if he's part of the Unity Cup, they will sell more tickets.
Yes.
And we even saw a situation where a Galatasaray fan came to see the Rwanda game. All the way, she came all the way from Turkey to see Victor Osimhen because of the love she has for Victor Osimhen. And if you ask an average Napoli fan today, they still have so much love for the man.
Yeah, let me give you an example what I mean by image rights, so that we will not go too far.
All right.
Obafemi Martins, at the peak of his career, I mean, he doesn't score as much goals as Victor Osimhen, right? At that point, he was, the biggest market for Puma in Africa.
Okay.
So let's now put Victor Osimhen today. What is the value of his image if a club side want to pay that money he's demanding? I'm not saying it's not his right, or players even below, players that are not even better than him earn as much as that, right?
Even more.
And even more. I'm not even saying those ones even have the image, but of course we have to not take away the fact that where he's coming from is also a part. Now, again, goes back to the fact that as a stranger in the family, you have to do more, right? So what exactly is he bringing as regards image to earn that money? These are the questions. This is exactly what I'm actually putting in context. So at this point, right, yes, he's a good player. For me, if I will advise Osimhen, this is what I'm saying. If Osimhen takes a pay cut, this is it too. On a 2 years deal, the pay cut is going to include that his release clause will be perhaps around 40 million. So that if he wants to leave, because he knows the quality he's got, right? If he bangs in the goals the first season, banging the goal second season, he can now negotiate with the club, increase my pay or I go here, where people will now be willing to actually give him that money if he wants to stay in Europe.
On a 2-year contract?
No, he's going to sign a 4-year contract.
Okay.
Do you understand? Now you tell the club that, okay, I'm willing to take a pay cut, but...
Pay cut to what amount?
No, Osimhen is actually looking for...
He's looking for 400.
For 400.
300 to 400.
300 to 400.
Yes.
Now, Osimhen taking 250 at this point is not... See, for me, I think it's actually it's not that bad. Take 250 and tell them that, okay, if I want to leave, this should be my release clause. So that your release clause will not be a problem as we are having in Napoli. Let your release clause come down so that when you bang in the goals the first season, many big clubs will come. Now, when they come, that's when the negotiation will start.
I think it has to do with the agents. I still hammer that as well. Yes, your points are very much valid, and he needs to get very good agents to speak for him, to talk in the corners where he cannot reach. Because let me tell you, the agents is another cabal.
Yeah.
They have ways of pressing demands and making sure if Osimhen has the right agent, by now he will not be struggling to leave Galatasaray.
I agree.
He will find a way to discuss with Laurentiis and have his way to make sure that man leaves.
I even think he would not have even gotten to Galatasaray in the first place if his agent was. I totally agree with you that the agent also plays a big part of this decision of him going to any club that he chooses to go.
All right, let's talk about the inclusion of Iheanacho in the Super Eagles squad for the Unity Cup and friendly game against Russia, which has sparked controversy. And Iheanacho has struggled for game time at Sevilla and goals this season. Even playing for Middlesbrough did not even save the situation. And a player not in the squad criticized the decision, calling it unusual grace and a mockery of national team football. They noted that Iheanacho's inclusion, despite his poor form, rewards favoritism over performance. I think the soap he's using, he was using that time. Now he's using it for call-up. He's not using it for goals anymore.
It's sad.
Yes.
It's sad. I mean, Jerry, a player who barely got to play minutes in the just concluded Nations Cup. He was there. A lot of persons even forgot he was part of that Nations Cup.
Even the Nations Cup is even too much. Middlesbrough, he's not getting playing time.
Jerry, Middlesbrough was after the Nations Cup. He came there. After the Nations Cup, we barely see anything. We barely seen anything about Iheanacho.
He would have been retired by now.
Even if he didn't retire, these are the players that should be going to Saudi.
Saudi League.
Yes.
To do what?
Saudi League.
Saudi League will not.
You just mentioned image just now.
No. In
Yes.
Saudi at this point, what they actually do is they will actually want players who actually have experience playing in Europe to actually help them develop their league. That's what they actually.
And you think he has the experience in Europe to come and develop
yes,
a league?
to an extent. Yes, many players in.
Do you know how many players in Saudi League that will be benching him now?
No, they
because
can't.
the club size that will have will have player like Iheanacho to count on. They are not among the top You know, Saudi League now, they have Keda now.
I know they have Keda.
They have clubs that have already bought players who are good enough.
Yes.
Because they have the money to buy these players. That means he's going to go to the second,
to the bottom feeder.
Yeah, become a champion there. Because he cannot go to Ronaldo's club.
No, now
he cannot go to.
I mean.
He cannot go to Benzema's
club.
club.
No. It's about. I think if you take out Al-Nassr, Al-Hilal, which other?
That's what we're saying.
No, all those Al-Khalud, he can actually play there now. Where Ekong is now.
Who?
Ekong. Truseko is in
that not
Saudi.
the same team that?
Is Truseko the biggest player?
No, it's not the biggest. I think
Al-Khalud is not a very. They don't have those big.
Maybe that's why they brought in Ekong.
No, Ekong has been there since.
Yes, that's why they brought in Ekong.
So that's what I'm saying.
If comes to that squad, do you think he's going to start?
He's not going to start.
Why won't he start?
He's not going to start.
Okay, but you know that how many people knows Ekong in
that's what I'm saying.
No,
he can actually play regularly there.
That means he will just become a crayfish inside the soup.
No, he can't.
Yes.
Which soup? Are you calling that
as far as money is involved, because I will not be spending money on the player who will not give me value, both in terms of quality, in terms of performance, in terms of adding value. It's not marketable.
Iheanacho
For instance, do you know that? Do you know how bad it is if I spend money on Iheanacho, even in the Saudi league? That means it does not have a buyout. If I even want to, like, okay, please go.
Transfer.
I will not release him on the free.
On the free.
That's
So it was a waste of.
We just come and bring him to.
Iheanacho will do well in Saudi.
He won't do well.
Come on, it's not that bad.
He won't do well. He's not doing well.
He couldn't do it in Sevilla where he just.
Maybe you're part of the people nominated him.
Yeah, exactly. Probably he's giving him the soup that he's using.
It is what it is. Anyway, I think the player who would have been saying this is the player who felt that he should have gotten the invite instead of Iheanacho. But what is happening with these Super Eagles? We thought that since Eric Taylor has come, things are going to change in terms of selection of players. We are still seeing Ahmed Musa for crying out loud, and Iheanacho in the team. What is going on?
Again, it's all boils down to the people who are in charge. If we cannot create a good structure, I keep saying the people who are in charge don't have footballing understanding. They're just businessmen. If we bring in people who have experience of what football means, the decisions that will be made will be completely different. You can't expect somebody who has not played to a certain standard for a while. I would even argue that Ahmed Musa is still a fair option compared to Kelechi Iheanacho, who has been bouncing from club to club over the last 3 seasons. You cannot bring somebody like that and say, oh, come and play against somebody who has won Scudetto, who has won the Bundesliga, and put him as part of the striking options. You're not going to get anything out of that whole. He's just there to make sure that the seat is won for the people who are going to be coming back off the field. So we have to make sure that the people who are above the coaches, who make the decisions to put those coaches in place, have football understanding. And it cannot happen if the people who are supposed to be in those seats are avoiding it. Look at the likes of Samuel Eto'o, who made sure that he came back to Cameroon and fought for a place in his federation. That is exactly the kind of things people like JJ, who are doing brand ambassadorial work for other things, that they should come and be part of this whole NFF system. It will change some of the. That's why I was saying the things like under 20 and under 17. These are the things that will help those systems to kind of improve. Because imagine if we have good under 17 structures, all this club league, your favorite team, Eimba, and all these other teams that start having under 17 leagues, it starts to create that ripple effect of, okay, we can pick a young boy who is doing very well from that team to come and join this Super Eagles team to train with them. At least that way the experience begins to compound.
All right, we'll wait for that time, and we hope God keeps us alive. Anyway, let's now go back to Europe, where Manchester United has put up every player for sale after missing out on the Champions League spot due to their Europa League final loss to Tottenham. And according to report, the club needs to generate funds to strengthen their squad and will listen to offers for all players, including captain Bruno Fernandes. Has it gotten that bad? You want to even sell your best which is Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes is the Cristiano Ronaldo of that team.
Is the Cristiano Ronaldo of that
And
team.
he has even offered that he wants to be sold. That even if it's Saudi League, just sell me, let me go. Use the money and better your life. It doesn't concern me. Just let your people go. It's more like the Israelites trying to be free from Egypt.
It's actually me. I will just quickly put this. It's painful that Manchester United brought in Bruno Fernandes at this time. Exceptional player, fantastic stats, but bad timing.
I think he won titles. I think he has 3 FA Cup.
Bad timing. Because he came into a Manchester United at the time when things are, I won't say, are not progressing. Don't let me use a negative term.
At least there was still hope then.
Well,
there was still hope when he came in.
When he came in, yes, but at the trajectory they took after then, especially with the change of ownership, the change of sporting directors, it just kept getting worse and worse.
Ronaldo still did not service.
Ronaldo coming in did not change the situation. Ronaldo was forced to
Ronaldo
leave.
delayed the inevitable when he came because he had 17 goals in
yes,
his first
exactly. He tried to make
but
sure
still yet he was not appreciated by Eric Ten Hag. He was pushed out.
He tried to
the likes of Eric Ten Hag tried his best. He 100%. Pushed out De Gea
100%.
And brought in a disaster of a goalkeeper who is Onana.
For an ungodly amount.
So just the thing is that you have put up the old players for sale.
Yes.
So how do you market an Onana, for instance? Who will buy Onana? Because it's going to be difficult. Okay, Maguire is in the market. Lindelof is in the market.
Yes.
Diogo Dalot is in the market.
Yes. Those ones are still marketable, yes.
Is in the market.
Very marketable.
Who are going to be buying them? Is it Al-Hilal?
Well, there are some teams that, well, if we take out their wages.
And let's not forget there's Sancho. There's
who is still unknown, that Chelsea has promised to return back.
Yes, in full time. They're waiting for the last match. On Monday morning, he has already arrived at Carrington. Okay, take your property. Even the Rashford, I think Aston Villa is not going to renew still.
They are not going to renew. I don't think they're going to. Just because of...
That means he's coming back. Oh, wow. All for sale. Who is going to buy them? That's the question I'm asking an Enyimba fan today. Okay. A Manchester United Enyimba fan. No worry, I already have lobby stars waiting. The day Liverpool will now go to 17, I'll clean lobby stars. They say that's the new style. I will not be changing my style.
No, what is...
Wait,
I've always been an Enyimba fan.
You always be a Manchester United fan.
So the thing is, it's sad that that United is actually going through this process. All United fans across the world, I don't know how they are going to manage this very bad time. But then for United trying to or looking at overhauling the squad, because that's exactly what it means. I think it's a good place to start really. If they want to keep the manager has to actually bring in his own players that can actually fitting into what exactly he wants to do with the club. And it also depends on the kind of project United already have in line. This is where I have issues with Dan Ashworth's and Dan Ashworth and United when they actually sever their ties. Because when he came, I was expecting United to actually get back to their feet, because the man has actually shown over the years that he's got a very good eye for good projects. He's actually the brain behind the English project that gave them 2 back-to-back Euro finals. He's actually the brain behind when he left the English national team. He went to Brighton. We saw how Brighton's churned out top players from Caicedo to this guy that's giving problem in the flank. This Asian dude, Mitoma. Couple of players actually came out of that particular Brighton setup, and of course from Brighton he moved to Newcastle. We saw how Newcastle turned out. They went to the Champions League, and of course they are still a very stable side. United courted this man, and I was hoping that he's going to actually help United set the structure. The first problem United had with people at the end of affairs United had with Dan Ashworth was the arrival of Ruben Amorim. He was strongly against it. He said it doesn't fit the bill,
and he was right,
of what United actually wanted. And United had brought this dude for £20 million.
He was right. Because I think he even had a plan, though people took
Yes.
to coach the team
It,
and
it,
start building.
for starters, because
Yes.
Southgate was
Start
actually the
building
one who started the English project. You remember, he got them to 2 Euros finals, and of course the English project also got England their first ever under 17 and under 20 World Cup, got their female to World Cup semi-finals and I think Olympic finals. So he really did a lot, and I mean, for a man who's got that long history of trying out good projects, I think United's loss started the day they actually left. Allow them Iheanacho leave. Now the big question is, how are they going to come back? Are they going to bring back Dan Ashworth or bring someone similar to start up the project again? Do they have that person
If you're
already?
Iheanacho, will you come back?
I mean, as a business person, right? I mean, it's all about the money. If my conditions are met, why won't I come back? It's all about conditions.
That means you will find it difficult to first of all sell out these players, because if you look at the Manchester United squad, it's a very difficult situation for any owner or even club manager to find yourself, because you have a bunch of about 20 players who you will find difficult to sell because of their wages and so on and so forth. And now I hear they're going for Matheus Cunha, who many are already complaining that he's a one-season wonder. He's been struggling all of his football career before now. He had a good season in Wolves, and all of a sudden you want to buy him. Negotiation is already done.
Isn't that the history of Manchester
Leon
United?
Delap,
Yes.
who just had one fantastic season at Ipswich that is relegated, they're also going for him. Though these are flashes of good players, but is it what's going to take Man United to the top 4?
Do you say Delap is a one-season wonder too?
No, I'm not saying from what I've seen in the Premier League. As far as I'm saying, whatever he has done in the Championship is good and fine. But I only want to judge him in the Premier League. Yeah, he still did very well. He still did very well.
You know, he was in Manchester City before he went to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can he cut it at a big club? Can he cut it at a big club that is having more pressure, more demands? Because in spite of his performance, the club still get relegated, and of course they will still be happy to have him in the Championship. But now Man United wants him to play with them in the Premier League. Is it going to be enough to see them play in the top 4 at the end of the season? And who are the players that are going to give way? They have Højlund, they have Orobosa, they have Iheanacho. They've not even sold those ones yet.
Well, for me, I would say I don't even know how they're going to manage, because when you look at it,
okay,
you want to take out Bruno Fernandes, you want to take out Casemiro,
right,
you want to take out most of your good players who are somewhat okay,
all right,
and then replace them with, like you said, I don't know what you're going to replace them with.
We're pressed for time, unfortunately, because Man United's issues, we will use 3 hours and will not be successful in tackling it. So that's how we wrap it up. Ayo, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
100%.
Ikechukwu, sorry, take out. And of course, we guys see guys, this show is great one, talking about the lives of Sam, Adura, and of course Paul, not leaving out Ikechukwu. My name is Jerry Apelohai. Up next is Political Lens with Chukwu Makoro. Stay safe.